This is Hannibal and the mascot of the Hannibal TV, Piper, here with a daily wrestling news update. Steve Austin confirmed in an interview with Sports Illustrated today that WWE, as reported by Dave Meltzer, did in fact give him multiple offers to perform at WrestleMania 39, which definitely would have made it better. Maybe it would have made me want to watch the second night. He said, quote, "I haven't spoken about this, but I'll give you the story. I met with some people from WWE. We talked about the possibility of me wrestling at WrestleMania 39. The biggest thing in my mind was the presentation and what kind of match it was going to be. Going back to WrestleMania 38, the way the KO thing was presented, I turned that down 3, 4, 5 times until the creative finally came to what it ended up being. I didn't want it constructed as a real match per se. I needed something that could turn into one, and it did. But I think that's why we got away with it. The Dallas crowd was very receptive. I hadn't been around, so the timing was right. But to do a proper match, I have to be in off-the-charts shape. I told them, and this is the exact truth, I said, guys, I'm fixing to go into production on this show. Stone Cold takes on America. And until we start production, I don't know what my life looks like. I can't commit. Sure enough, there were technical issues before we finished. I was supposed to finish a month before we did. There's no way with that schedule I was doing, driving an RV all over God's creation, doing all I was doing, that I would be ready. End quote. He goes on in more detail. You could look it up in Sports Illustrated, but there you go. He's got a show where he's driving around in an RV doing different jobs. I seem to recall it's going to be on A&E, but he didn't have enough time to properly train for a match, and probably the money offer wasn't right, because that's what it all comes down to. There's always a number that will make somebody do it, for sure. And maybe they didn't want to offer the right number. Also, I did watch the Tom Pritchard podcast that he did tonight about the Iron Sheik, who trained him, and they were wondering what the real reason was, what the alleged heat is between Brian Blair and the Iron Sheik. It has to do with a shoot interview that Brian Blair did on the Sheik, where he accused the Sheik of being a child molester. Here's a quick clip of it. It was one that Rob.
I could not believe that he had a young boy, a ring boy, in the room, a guy that wanted to be in the ring crew or something, and Sheik molested this little kid.
So yeah, that was from one of Rob Feinstein's shoot interviews. So that was the whole reason why they really had heat. Apparently, Trish Stratus revealed that she had a torn hamstring and still wrestled at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, on Impact, we had recently the champion, and both the male champion and the women's champion vacate already pretty meaningless titles due to minor injuries, rather than suck it up or remember when Dynamite Kid had a broken back and they still managed to switch a title? It just kills titles when you vacate titles. And the whole point of Mickie James coming back was supposed to be to elevate new talent. In the end, she beats everyone and then vacates the title. Anyways, I'm not saying the injuries. I mean, there's always wrestling's fake. There's way to work around injuries. That's just my opinion. Wrestlers aren't as tough as they used to be. I miss tough wrestling. The other thing is, I guess, Dax Hartwood from FTR has shut down his podcast. He was complaining recently. Again, another one of the pussies in the wrestling business about the heat he was getting. I don't know. Blood Hunter was the number one heel of 2021. Legitimate. He had everyone going after him. TMZ, the UK Metro, Toronto Sun, New York Post, literally every country, and he didn't complain about it. He is good for heels. And the NXT rating was up a little bit to a 0.14 this week. Tom, yeah, I not only did I get a good weight workout in, I did back, but I've been so pissed off about this Abdullah the Butcher trying to con people into giving him money, claiming that he's broke because of all this lawsuit money he had to pay me, which he paid zero, and working people, even though he has a house. I'd have to look it up, but I believe it's worth somewhere around $350,000. I'd have to double check on that, but yeah, he's got a fairly nice house, nicer than most people, on a nice property, and he's trying to work people to give him money. Last time I checked, it was at nearly $8,000. So, and if he would just get a divorce, he would get some of his wife's assets, but he refuses to get a divorce. And he's got a bank robber, a guy. They're actually presenting a bank robber, a former WCW guy that has spent federal time for bank robbery, as a character witness of him. So it's a big joke, saying he can't write when his handwriting is better than mine. Quite funny. Quite hilarious. Headbanger Thrasher interview. Maybe. I got a bunch coming up. Jack Victory this weekend. Mustafa, New Jack's old tag team partner, coming up next weekend. And one of the women that is in one of the most popular videos on this channel, Katrina, who has a match with Selena De Laurenta on this channel that has almost 4 million views. She was from Lucha Underground and NXT. She's going to be doing an interview with me Friday night. John, yeah, it's weird how some people live long and other people don't. It's just the way the universe works. No one can really figure it out. What's up? Loved my channel. Thank you. Number one wrestling channel in Canada by far. I appreciate all the support. And yes, Billy Jack Haynes did an interview with me last night. Billy Two Eagles interview. Maybe. I'm not that familiar with Portland, to be honest with you. I would like to go to Oregon. Maybe one day I will. I'd love to do a video of Billy Jack touring me around Oregon, which, by the way, he had a nice dinner at the Olive Garden tonight, which is a much more popular restaurant in the U.S. than Canada. We had one here in Ottawa, and it closed. And by the way, it's 4/20 tomorrow for all of you pot smokers out there. And for some reason in Ottawa, on Parliament Hill, every 4/20, there used to be a protest where thousands of people go to Parliament Hill, which is like the big gathering place. It's kind of similar to the White House in Canada. It's not where the Prime Minister lives, it's where Parliament meets, but where the Prime Minister lives, it's much more hidden than the White House. It's not too far away. It's about 5 or 10 minutes further down the street on Sussex Drive. But anyways, I think I'm going to go to this 4/20 protest / celebration tomorrow. And interview some people. And yeah, I've never been to it. It's supposed to be a nice day here tomorrow. Why not? I'm going to live stream parts of it. Hello, James. Happy birthday to your little boy. And by the way, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, follow us on Facebook, where we have over 66,000 followers as well. And don't forget, speaking of Ottawa, it's a Saturday night, May the 6th, 2.5 weeks away. As I said, Abdul the Butcher pissing me off, made me run an extra 3 miles tonight. I'm training hard. This is going to be a great event for Great North Wrestling, Saturday night, May the 6th, Ottawa, Ontario. Tickets are on sale now, ticketweb.ca. James Storm's going to be there, Wes Briscoe, the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, who hasn't appeared in Canada forever. I know he was working behind the scenes when WCW came here in the 90s, but I can't remember the last time he's wrestled or appeared in Canada. He'll be managing the Blood Hunter, Ben Hammond, the Greek god Papadon, Jessica Black and Jeremy Prophet, who recently had AEW matches, Vance Nevada, Canadian wrestling legend, the Bruiser. It's going to be very, very good card. John, Superstar's doing all right. Why not Toronto? Because I don't like Toronto. I don't live in Toronto. That's why. Why would we do a show? Why would I not do a show in the town that I live in? Why would I drive 5 hours to a city where the traffic is so bad it can take 2 or 3 hours to drive across the city? And there are some nice people, but I don't know. Montreal is my favorite city in Canada by far. And yeah, we actually have a second show planned July 15th in Smith Falls, Ontario, too, which is closer to Toronto. But that one, not more information is going to be coming out later on. But it's actually Jack Kilby running Great North Wrestling now. I'm just showing him the ropes. And the events are going to air on the Hannibal TV. So, of course, I'm going to help with them, make them as good as possible and as successful as possible. So on that note, have a great night. Even the Torontonians have a good night. I actually did have fun in Toronto last year with a girl named Natalia at this crazy expensive hotel that was at a restaurant on the rooftop right beside the CN Tower. And there ended up being two ladies there that night. I think I ended up taking down those videos. But yeah, have a great night.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest